Man, that's vibes. Did you would you think that you came to this place like we were about to shoot this at home, but then you come here now?
And then you see a bunch of people having dinner and they're like, bro, we know them. Wow.
Feeling good, bro.
See, this is what I'm telling you. You can't fucking go back. I know you have to, but...
Thank you, brother. Bro, honestly, even if we just have a little water bottle, we'll just pour it ourselves, bro. You don't have to hassle you.
Yeah, but he's bringing us...
House water. Oh, fuck
What
yeah. Fair enough.
What all water do we have?
Empty pot, sir. Empty pot.
Is it sparkling or flat?
So sparkling.
No, much.
No?
Nah.
It'll be good.
House water, baby.
But once we start, they won't be able to bring for us.
It's okay.
You sure?
No, don't be a bitch. No, you need water the whole time? Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
हमने उसके बाद वैसे भी खाना
Thank you. Exactly.
बंद कर दो ना दरवाजा सर.
I'll do it.
हाँ अच्छा. कोई नहीं.
Client
What's the
acquisition.
frame? Keep the glass here.
Yeah, you can keep whatever wherever, bro.
Cool bitches.
Damn, bro. Came to Tyler's for a podcast, left with a potential client. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I mean, it's not about the fact that it was a potential client, but it was just the right amount of motivation or like a kind of spark boost you needed to like just start this off.
Right? When you walk into a place, you don't know anyone, and then they're like,
Fuck, dude, like this place is like second home for me.
yeah.
So before or after training clients at this particular gym, AB Fitness, I just sit here and do my calls or do my laptop work and then maybe have a coffee or order some food. Like it's a regular thing, at least 3 to 4 times a week. So coming at this particular time at like 11:30 in the night after a long day when you're like fucking dozing off, this is the kind of fucking rush you needed, right?
Dude, on that note, where are the one and only Tylers? Welcome to Chronic Nirvana in a new location for the first time, not at home.
Not at home.
Right?
Where the first time we tried shooting it. And it was amazing.
Bitch.
But I'm glad this is happening, man. Like, I really didn't want to disappoint and be like, oh, we planned for a podcast, but we didn't do it. And now you're back in Canada. Like,
You always let people down in front of camera, huh? Eh?
yeah. See, this is why I didn't become a porn star. Now you know why.
You got the build for it, bro. I'm telling you.
Got built for it.
You keep the personal training to Dubai, keep the porn starring to Canada if you ever
Canada,
decide to
yes.
shift base,
There will be a surprise trip where you're like, okay.
I'll cast you. People will be like, where have I seen him before? In the gym? No. In her.
And then they're like, oh, this is the guy who can also do everything. Become a plumber, become a personal trainer, become fucking everything. Shit.
That career's always there, man. That career's always there. But, speaking of careers and where you got here now, there are a lot of people who think starting off at the gym is one of the most difficult things to do. When in reality, the even more difficult thing to do is sustain that practice because that dies off about as quickly as it begins. So, as someone in this space, what is the first thing you do when it comes to building that sense of discipline within your clients? Like, what's your approach? What do you tell them? And what would you want to tell people who want to sustain this practice before they even say reach out to a personal trainer? Like, that was my whole shebang, right? Because I couldn't keep this consistent for a very long time. So before I even sort of committed to anyone, I needed to commit to myself first to see, okay, before I even go get a personal trainer in whatever capacity, even with you, I don't want to be that guy where, you keep me accountable to any degree and I do nothing with it, right?
Yeah.
So even before a personal trainer, even if you're just training by yourself, how do you build that consistency? So how do you focus on sustaining this practice?
See, I mean, there are very different directions to this, right? Now, if you are gonna come from a place where you want to get into getting healthier, fitter, because you have a medical compliance on you, right? If you don't work out, your life is at stake. Or you're going through certain things which only training can help you improve. Or if you're just coming to me to look good, to feel better. Now, there are very different directions someone can go into. So, whenever you have a chat with someone or I have a chat with someone, I just understand with these very basic things, and usually there's a flow of some basic questions that you follow, but then within that flow, you're just like having a conversation with someone. If you're meeting them for the first time, or if you've met them before, you're gonna just slowly bring those things back, what you spoke about, and see where they are now when they're coming to you after a while, or when they're coming to you for the first time. So some of the first basic most questions I ask them is that, are you even looking for a personal trainer? Because a lot of the times people don't know if they're looking for a personal trainer.
And
A
why
lot of
should they go
times-
for one?
Exactly. So instead of me telling them that I'm the right one, I ask them that, are you looking for a personal trainer? And how do you think I can be the one that can help you? Like obviously they must have found out about me via a reference or via watching me on Instagram or somewhere, maybe just seeing me at the gym. So I'm just trying to understand where that person is coming from. Like for some people, this has been the answer that, oh, I like what you post. It's so much more different than what others are doing. And then just the small details you pay attention to, all the educational stuff, or just your personality, and or maybe this person has recommended me. And then some people even just directly jump on to things like, how much do you charge? What's your price? Like, let's get down to that, just nitty gritty, and just find out. And then, I'm not someone who works like this, right? For me, it's very much important to understand if the person who wants help is genuine, and I can be the right person to help them as well, right? Now, if there is someone who's coming from a place where, say, they have some chronic diseases which I may not be experienced enough, or I may not be educated enough to take care of it, I wouldn't really want to jump into it just because I'm going to be paid for it.
Fair.
Right? Now, because I'm just one person, one entity, I have limited amount of hours to be able to help and guide people. And this is all while I'm trying to build myself online. So it's always easier to be transparent on both sides that, okay, I'm the right person, I can help you. Now it's on you if you want to go with someone like me. And I always like to give that one trial session. I'll definitely charge for that, but if they are looking forward to that trial session, it gives me an idea that, okay, they have some sort of a buy-in to see how I am and how I work and what I do. And most of the times it's the case where if they do a trial session with me and if things work in our favor, they will be on board. It's different, it's unique. That whole experience, not with just training, because everybody knows what the basics are, but just the style of teaching, just the personality addition, and the basic most things to having a small conversation and getting to know the person genuinely. Now, jumping onto the part where you were like, how do you help someone work around consistency, work around the motivation and things like that, right? Now, there could be, again, a few different cases, when somebody is coming in new, they could be super motivated, right? We're sitting in Jan, Jan is almost halfway done. It's 16th of Jan now. And probably some people are still in it, 2023 energy, you're gonna fucking crush it, and they've been regular, they've been amazing. Some people probably have already started and just got done with it. They're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
Try it, didn't work, okay. But what I, as a personal trainer, really feel is that you have to just treat it like a job. This is if you're not really into it. Just like how you go to your job, could be you working for someone, could be you doing your own shit, you should pay attention and at least dedicate half an hour to 1 hour for it. It could be as easy as this, right? Just go to a gym for even half an hour, warm up for 5-10 minutes, work out for 15-20 minutes, and get out. Now again, the problem with us human beings is that we end up thinking too much. So people are going to be like, oh, I'm going to be driving there just for half an hour, and then again going out, and then again driving back to where the fuck I want to be. So why? But they don't understand that just doing half an hour every day or every other day consistently will just help add on to them with time, right? Now, see, clients are very different. It's as similar to us learning alphabets when we were babies, right? We didn't really just start making words. we started making letters, then framing small words, and then bigger words, and then sentences, right? So every person is different. Their interest in certain areas may rely differently, right? So for some people, I can directly get them onto making words, which is like talking more detail into nutrition, tracking calories, using apps to track calories. But for some clients, I'm literally like, listen, let's just start training first. Forget about your food, eat whatever the hell you want. I am okay with that.
Just show up at the gym first.
Just show up at the gym, become regular. Let's focus on learning some movements, some techniques that will add value onto your body, your system, frame, whatever term that is. And then when you see those small changes in a month, month and a half, because for most of them, they are either beginners, they haven't been to the gym, or they haven't trained in a very long time and they want to get back to it.
Right.
So for such people, they will see changes no matter what they eat or how much they eat. Obviously, one cannot eat as much. Unless obviously there are rare cases where they have eating disorders and things like that. But they will still see some difference. If not observing difference, they may feel good. They may feel stronger. These are the most basic things that will happen with them. And then intrinsically they'll be like, okay, what's next? I'm willing to do some changes with my food. Maybe eat one healthy meal a day. So then it starts from there. And then as we know, it's not a race, it's a marathon. So you have to be in it for the long run. And not be like, oh, Nikhil trains with VK. I also want to go train with VK now. Because the whole Dubai trains with me. Everybody wants to like train with me. Like, it doesn't work like that.
Fair. Because for me, the beautiful thing about this process, at least with consistency, was when I started working out, at least in Toronto, right? Like, I was in a very bad place. This was one of the few nice things about my life. Going to the gym was just one of the few things that were happening, one of the few good things that were happening in my life. Man, that had a weird cascading effect because just like you said, right? Like, it's not like I particularly enjoy lifting weights. It's not like one of my most favorite things to do. Truth be told, one of my favorite ways of working out is while doing MMA drills. Like, that is something I have a lot of fun with because there's a lot of body weight exercises with it.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you're also testing yourself by getting punched and kicked and whatnot. And this time, the tables were turned. I don't get to do my MMA training or whatnot. I had to make do with what was there. And I absolutely hated looking at myself in the mirror. It just wasn't nice, right?
Yeah.
And I just realized that, I was listening to this snippet of a podcast where I think it was Jordan Peterson, and he said that as humans, we all have this right and we deserve to look at our physical peak, which is extremely beautiful, right? And that physical peak is only obtained when you push yourself against certain limits in life, when you push yourself against doing things which you don't particularly enjoy, right? And it started off that way. I started going to the gym. There were days where I wasn't doing anything right. There were days that I just wasted away, but for whatever reason, I guess that mentality changed. I went from not particularly enjoying weights to absolutely enjoying them now because, I'd go there, do absolutely nothing right, but just doing that particular thing right in that day, knowing that, okay, I didn't waste my day entirely. I went there, tested myself, and every day I'd find some different way to push myself. If I feel like if I didn't lift weights as much and I couldn't say bench as much as I normally do because I couldn't find a spotter or any of that, I just drop down, do push-ups till failure, dips till failure. I really like doing pull-ups because I think pull-ups I have a very weird logic. You can lift as many weights as you want, man, do whatever the fuck you want. But when you can do shit like pull-ups and muscle-ups and body weight exercises and lift your body, I think, and you do that well, dude, that's a separate flex in itself. That in itself looks really good, And
Sure.
From there, I just started meeting people. I started meeting people in the gym. I started meeting very like-minded, motivated people who found that degree of solitude and peace at the gym. It helped me deal with whatever I was dealing with. And after a while, just like everyone says, it became a form of therapy. And the craziest thing that kind of put me on this boat of consistency was because I started making a little content about it. people started going off of that and using that content to build a fitness regimen by themselves. And then when they texted me saying that, oh dude, I saw your content and now I'm regular at the gym, I'm like, shit, I'm no fitness influencer, man. What the fuck? Like, like, why are you watching my shit? Yeah, I'll give you Vivek's profile. Go watch that, right? Like, why do you need my shit to stay motivated? But then I realized that, that in itself was keeping me accountable. I'm like, shit, now people are watching.
Yes.
Now I have to go to the gym. Like, there's no two ways about it, right? Yeah, I've spent the last 5 weeks being a fat shit. Like, I'm on vacation. But like, once I go back there, as adverse as this whole Canadian experience was to me, somewhere going to this gym and building this habit is what gives me the confidence that when I go back, I am going to hit the ground running. Like there's no, like I don't even have a shred of doubt. And I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that because, going to the gym, at least from a layman's perspective, who's not a fitness influencer or in any sense of the form, like, I'm not chiseled or anything. But fuck me, man. The fact that self-doubt in itself just got removed from my system it has such healthy cascading effects on a lot of other aspects of my life with regards to content, making content, or just pursuing other opportunities, knowing full well that like you're probably going to suck at it, but this gym experience taught you that when you were consistent enough, you were able to see sustained progress and progress that will kind of stay in the long run. So yeah, man, like this whole consistency thing worked wonders. What do you think are, say, just 3 misconceptions that people just have about a fitness routine that that they don't otherwise really see right off the bat or don't understand very well, that any lay person watching this could take that information, absorb it, and make some immediate change? What are 3 things or misconceptions that you see people having?
I think the biggest one is people coming from this place where if you have to build a physique, you have to consume protein, and then they have come across with all of these myths with protein that it'll be damaging on your kidneys, or if you leave protein, you lose out on your body. And then going to the gym, this would come on the same category in a way, because they're like, oh, once you stop going to the gym, you'll get back to where you were, or you'll probably get even more fatter and things like that. Now, this has happened because they've been with trainers who didn't know what they were doing, or they've probably been on plans which completely restricted them from eating the foods they really love to, and they've taken all these unhealthy ways to drop and achieve certain progress. Now when they have and when they've left, because people think that once you've achieved a certain result, you can stop training and you can just be like that for good. So they have these small misconceptions, and then when they have been let down and they've actually regained and rebounded back to where they were before, or probably even worse, they've just gone like, oh, I don't think this is my cup of tea, and then just let it go. And I don't see this as coming from a place where they don't really give a fuck about it, but I just see this coming from a place where people are like, oh, we can do this, and then just be okay or be pretty casual about it. As you said, that sustenance is something which is very, very challenging to keep. Like, let's be honest. Me being a professional personal trainer, even I enjoy, man. Even I drink, even I smoke, even I eat desserts, even I eat everything, pizzas, burgers. But then you want to always weigh it out and see that what consequences I'll be going through if I'm going to have this at a certain particular time or a particular day. And then you have to weigh yourself out. And also keep in mind with what your activity is throughout the day in terms of work, in terms of your personal things and everything, right? Cool. Now, the second point that I think of is that people really try to restrict themselves to eat, or people think that eating certain amount of quantities is okay and it's going to help them, it's going to be cool. Like, for females, they think that if they eat more, they're going to get big. And get big in terms of if they're already training at the gym, they're going to think that, oh, I'm going to get really big, I'm going to like just get big and muscular, and I can't eat so much. and then they just restrict themselves with having salads or soups and probably foods that still don't have much protein, where they think, oh, I have a lot of protein. I mean, I'm having dal. Now, what do you think is dal a protein?
I don't know, man. My mom advocates it, like, she's like, eat dal. I'm like, bitch, I need chicken.
Exactly. So we have been literally like registered into our fucking systems from childhood by our parents that dal is a protein.
And it's not.
But it's not. Like, very putting it into very simple words, right? If you just look at the macro profile of a dal, it's high in carbs the most, and then you'll have some protein, and then you'll have fat. Like, let's say 100 grams of dal would have 60 to 65 carbs, would have probably 15 to 17 protein in 100 grams of uncooked dal. Now that is fucking a lot. Like, imagine you take 100 grams of uncooked dal, soak it in the water, it's going to be huge. Now for you to drink all of that first and then avoid the carb source, which you cannot, for just 15 to 17 grams of protein is definitely not a pure first wire source of protein. And people still think that, oh, I'm having dal, and that too they'll have like a small cup or two, thinking that, oh, I've had a lot of dal, but then it's like mixed up with water, it's mixed up with vegetables or whatever. Like, how much of a dal you barely ate? Like, probably like just half of the 4 people in the family. Like,
Yeah.
that's not even 1/4 of your protein that you're supposed to consume in the whole day.
So how would you summarize the eating concept of it, the eating notion or the nutrition notion? What do you
So-
think is a misconception that people can fix with regards to just that nutrition aspect of it?
Keep it simple. Firstly, don't try to chase these fad diets. Right now, why I say them to be fad diets is because people who there are cults into these situations, right? There's the keto cult, and then there's the intermittent fasting cult, and then there's the vegan cult. Well, I'm not trying to say cult in a wrong way, but they all like try to provide certain messages or certain agendas behind these particular diets, right? Now, I would not say any of these are bad or good or what. Like, do what suits you, but then don't do them from a perspective where you're like, oh, I'll do them for 3 months and then I'll achieve my goal and then I'll go back to where I was. No, it doesn't work like that. It's like you telling me that, oh, like, Vivek, focus and work hard for 3 months and then just chill in your life. Like,
So you have to do this shit the whole time. You're telling me people who eat keto, just if they're trying to make that work, these guys have to do this shit the whole time, like while they're working out. Because that feels like murder, man. Like almost everyone that I know who's tried keto can't do it for more than 3 months. It's like a very one-stop quick solution, not a sustained strategy that that
exactly
seems to
that.
work.
So why do something that you cannot sustain?
Yeah.
Yes, keto would be applied, or a low carb diet would be applied to someone who's going through a lot of medical problems and challenges where they really have to cut down and go insane and go strict to drop, say, 10 kilos as quick as possible.
Gotcha.
So then these tools are applied for certain people, but not necessarily applied for everyone. Might work wonders for people which I've always or already tried on, and then we've slowly turned things around, added more food, added more calories, and then brought their metabolic levels up to where they're ripped and they're training hard. But the pace or the tone down of your food intake is much more easier, You go on the weekend, you enjoy a couple of drinks, you have a nice meal, but you're still getting more and more in shape because of how hard you initially worked and then got into that level. And then understood the importance of it.
Fair. What's the third?
The third one is where people think personal training is expensive, and when they literally just how easily trade and tell themselves that no, I'm not going to go for it. And this is especially the bunch of people who are well-to-do, who are very well provided to be able to afford these things. But I don't blame them. They don't really know how to see the value in these things. to be able to decide for themselves that, okay, I think I should give it a shot. I think I should try it for 1 month and then see. I mean, I don't know about others, but what I am charging is literally as equivalent to of your whole month of weekend money. Like, you end up going out 2 to 4 times to a good place, spend that money on food. That will literally be the amount of money you're paying me every month for say 10 to 12 sessions, and you're going to be investing in your health, right? Now, people will only realize this when they are literally on a fucking gun on their head, like, oh, you have to train now, like, you have no other option.
So people are more, so you're telling me that one of the biggest issues with personal trainers, or the approach that people have towards personal training, is they are reactive to it and not proactive
Exactly.
with it.
So instead of being proactive, they're waiting for that time where they really have no choice and they have to jump ship. Could be for any reason, like when probably they've been just stuffing themselves for months and they're like, oh shit, like it's late now, gotta get back into it. Or if they have a condition, they're like, oh, now I think I gotta spend money on myself, because if I don't, then I'm not gonna be anywhere in life. Like,
Fair. What about reliance on services, right? And where I'm coming from with this is that, now if you take my profession for example, which is, where on a professional level I want to be creating content and producing content for people. Now that is a skill, right, which not a lot of people have, which means inherently they don't have the production techniques or the skills to do that or the infrastructure to do it, right? Which is why they reach out to people like me, and if they want to create content consistently over a long period of time, they still need me, right? But with regards to your body and your health and your fitness and whatnot, that's something which it's a habit that people can say get into and inculcate into their lives and sustain by themselves over a longer period of time. Like take you for example, you undoubtedly must have spent money and whatnot to educate yourself, and you must have spent money on trainers in the beginning to get that knowledge that you have until where you can kind of take care of your own fitness on your own, right? You're not relying on another fitness trainer to come and train you as much right now. I don't know.
I have a coach.
You have a coach, you have a mentor though, right? That's like two.
I have a mentor and a coach who
Oh, wait,
gives
you do?
me training programs,
Oh wait, really?
and then I'm accountable to him. Yes.
Oh shit, okay. I didn't know this. Okay, I didn't know this because this is an interesting conversation, right? With regards to me, not very many people can say, okay bro, you know what, I've seen what you do, now I can take it from here, and I know for a fact that you most likely don't have it handled. But with you on the other hand, like there are a lot of people who've got that hinge concept, which is, hey, I want to set you off on a good path, and 6 months later, if you don't need me daily, and instill a sense of accountability and fitness and that whole training regimen to someone. Is that a goal in any sense? Do you do that with people where you're like, okay, I kind of want you to be your own person doing this shit? You can tell people that, hey, I want to help you help yourself in the long term,
Now, my approach is always this, that I provide as much as education as possible, get the client as independent as possible so that they can do their own thing. Because let's be honest, clients will not stay with you for your whole life.
Yeah.
Could be for whatever reason, right? Now, there are clients that like to train with different kind of trainers. There are clients that probably cannot afford you for a long stretch of months, so they're looking for something valuable enough for just them to come in, get that sort of knowledge, and then do their own thing. Or maybe switch out to your online training program, or maybe switch out to your hybrid online training program, right? I have these 2 other programs where online training is just on the app, where I provide you a training plan, a nutrition plan, and then you follow things by yourself. And then I'm just checking with you via WhatsApp, via the chat on the app, which you're also using. Then there's another one where it's online hybrid, where you take, say, 2-3 sessions a month, understand everything, work out for 4 weeks, and then go do that by yourself. Just because some people enjoy training by themselves, they are experienced enough for them to be doing those things correctly. And within those 2-3 sessions when I'm training them, I just film everything, me teaching them on a tripod, and they have all that data as value, which they can use for their own purposes, or probably to help others also, in terms of just sharing it across,
Fair, man. That's
the
awesome.
goal is just to provide and increase this awareness of people trying to work towards themselves.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
100%.
gone are the days, or I still feel sorry for the people who still apply this, but I know people who try to stretch memberships, PT sessions. Yes, referrals is a thing, but referrals doesn't mean that you will have retentionship in terms of clients sticking to you for long, long, long. I mean, that has to be the goal on a business perspective, but I really care more about providing the value. Because if I be really be on it providing value, I will get referrals, I will get the relationship. I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so we were talking about when it comes to value add, right? That's a very important cornerstone of any business, whether you're running yours or I'm running mine, right? And outside of the value that you add, how has the fitness journey impacted your ability to run a business? What are key lessons you've learned from working out, putting your body through these adversities and whatnot, and testing yourself on a physical plane?
So, firstly, how I started training was when I was 15, summer holidays. One of my very close friends at that time was like, yeah, let's go to the gym. And I was like, why gym? I was playing basketball, I was swimming, I was playing cricket, I was pretty active. And he was like, yeah, bro, but we're fucking skinny, man. Like, we are skinny, we are like pale and tanned, and we probably didn't have any girls giving us any attention at that point. But yeah, thought a little ahead of the way, and I was like, okay, maybe I could look a little decent, better than what I am. It's summer holidays, I can just go and, for a couple hours in the gym, and it was a hard gainer, No matter what I eat, no matter how much I eat, it was tough. So yeah, that's how I started. And then from there, within no time, I just got so addicted to it. Because, as you were mentioning that the feeling, it feels like therapy. And that reminds me also one more thing just to switch off. Like, I'm actually going to come up with a t-shirt design which says, train heavy, I can't afford therapy. So
Nice.
that's
Yeah.
a fucking bomb idea.
Yeah.
And I have it in my notes. So we're going to work on one design. If you have any ideas, feel free. But after that, I started researching online. I started learning more and understanding that, oh, I'm really deeply inclined towards this, I just started helping my friends, my boys in the school. Oh, tu ye kar, you do this, you eat this, you do that. And they actually started seeing some results. Somebody's dropping body fat, somebody's gaining muscle. And I was like, wow, like I actually feel good. I get that rush of helping people and, trying to just see them go somewhere and, feel better about themselves. So then from there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna properly get certified, train, this, that. Now, training over the course of years, even competing professionally on like 2-3 bodybuilding shows and platforms, what I've understood is that if you as a trainer are not gonna train yourself, firstly, train hard yourself, push yourself to that limit in any particular exercise, how will you feel or understand your client when you're pushing them through a certain exercise or a movement, right? Now, firstly, whatever exercises I don't do, I wouldn't make my clients do. Because I feel on a very psychological level, it's important that, say, if you are doing a split squat or if you are doing a dumbbell press or a lat pull down, and when you're taking your client through the failure, when the client is going through like fucking pain and shit and struggle, and this happens, right? When you're doing an exercise, you do end up compromising some other body part when you start getting tired.
Absolutely.
Right? So if I haven't trained myself that hard enough, I will not be able to interpret and understand like what's going on in my client's mind, and where I do need to like call it off and just tell them to chill. So I feel as a trainer, you have to train yourself, and especially train yourself with the movements that you make your clients do. Be like very well read about it. What are the joint functions? What are the actions? What are the movements that are going in? And everybody's structures are so different. So train yourself first, understand what range of motion, what exercise, what's the purpose, and then apply on clients.
On my front, For me, it's an issue of consistency and improving slowly. And most important, like obviously, so consistency is the bedrock of it. As consistent as I am with going to the gym, I feel like I need to be as consistent with, say, shooting and uploading videos.
Yeah.
The second one is to chase consistency over perfection while improving quality. In the sense that, the same way how you increase your weights, increase your reps, increase your sets, and do that jazz, you also find ways to make your videos slightly more engaging, slightly better. You put in that extra effort, and you don't just go like, okay, I've made a Premiere Pro project with a template and I'm just gonna copy paste, do the same thing. Then it's also not fun.
Of course.
And the third is finding that zen zone where now creating content is also your form of therapy. So if you decide to get as vulnerable sometimes as you do in the gym, and when you're chasing that particular gym session or your workout session with some ferocity and some drive, you kind of just apply that onto content as well, and you find a massive degree of difference. The fact that you can be as open and maybe slightly vulnerable helps you connect with a larger audience, because now you're not putting on a facade. Like, you're not putting on a facade in the gym. Like, a gym is one place where people see you actively try and fail. It's a very you kind of look like an ass when when there's this huge guy over there and there's a really pretty girl in the gym. That dude is crushing his weights and you're barely able to do like 7 pull-ups, and you're failing in front of someone. And that's what content is at the end of the day. You make good videos or shit videos. When you fail, you're failing quite publicly, and you've kind of just got to suck up to it, get used to it, and not let that hamper your growth, or not let that turn into self-doubt, where that cascades into you just being inactive overall, right?
The part that you mentioned, you have to put certain efforts, could be macro or micro, but even micro would still count for and is better than doing nothing, right? Now, I had this biggest block where I always wanted that perfectionism, or that well done up graphic post, or that well done up edited video. Otherwise, I would not post. But now I'm like slowly getting out of that block where I'm like, okay, I can keep the quality high and then slowly work on making it even better with time, but not have a full stop to it. So just as we spoke about consistency and going in longevity with training and nutrition and all of these other things in the beginning of the podcast, it's very similar to that, right? If you cannot do a 60-minute session at the gym, do a half an hour, do a 20-minute. So the same I'm actually now applying to my business, or to my work, or to social media, because it's all a part of the business. I just take it one day at a time, and I just try to show up as much as I can.
And speaking of growing your business, you're also now involved with company like Baller Athletic. And how has that influence impacted you in your personal endeavor while growing your brand?
When I first had my meeting with Baller Athletic, it was all mixed feelings and emotions, and how I got introduced to this particular product, or a particular, what do you call it, like a position. The whole idea for the brand and the whole emotion that we're trying to convey to people is to be your better self, or to be your better best, like be the best version of you. And that's why the baller, the be, the better, the best, the be you, and that's why the build. So I mean, yeah, in a way, the idea where I got is from Baller, and absolutely love associating with the family there. The genuinity that I see and what I could pick up from these people is that the love towards what they do. And as a brand, they're not trying to just throw random ads or throw random model posts, but they're actually trying to convey stories of true people and what they're trying to do, and how Baller is affecting them like they do in their day-to-day lives. So the genuinity is very much there, and that's what even I could relate to and apply to my business as well, right? Like, just to show the genuineness of how I work behind the scenes with clients, maybe show a couple exercises of how they are doing things rather than me doing it, right? Like I would post my stuff as well because it'll definitely motivate a different set of people who are following me. And what I'm trying to show more is that clients are also exactly doing the same way that I'm doing with the exact same techniques or almost similar plus minus here and there. So yeah, it's been a fucking pleasure associating with Baller, and I see this definitely going for as long as of a term as possible. There are
Crazy
plans.
collective, right? Crazy collective of individuals, because now you've kind of got to push yourself to be at that level of competition, a collective of athletes that are all simultaneously motivating and not, I won't say motivating, that are pushing to be the best version of themselves. And like, you can't just sit there and slack, right?
Picking up energies from everyone,
Yeah.
from what walks of life they're coming in. Like there's Karan, like the kind of person he is, the kind of fire he has in himself to do something, to get some shit done is so different. And I'm someone who will always pick the positives from everybody, and every different personality has something to offer to you in terms of for you to learn and pick up from. And I'm like, okay, like if I'm gonna just be sitting idle, not picking up from these well multi-talented fuckers and trying to do some shit, then I'm not making the best out of my opportunity. And then
Oh yeah. And it's even there, and like, even if it's not just an athlete, man, our homeboy Omkar also keeps killing it, like, with
Exactly.
everything that he does. Like, it's there in him. Do you see that fire there too, right? Like, shout out Omkar, man, fucking mad content.
shout out to Omkar, man.
Big,
I mean,
big
it's
fan.
crazy, right? The dedication you need to deliver the kind of quality that he's doing or that you guys are doing is not a joke, man. Like, be on your screens for more than 12 hours a day, and this is like 24/7, 365 days. It's crazy, man.
Right? Use that screen for something more than just jacking off.
Exactly.
And speaking of jacking off, dude, has there been a significant difference in habits, like in terms of the strength and the power that you feel or have?
What was the difference that you felt?
Well, okay,
If you remember anything.
No. For starters, there was this time where when I was just jacking off, right? Like, and then I went on to have sex with someone. Then there was a while where I felt like I had a lot of control because like shit, my hand felt fucking great, right? Like I knew my sweet spots and whatnot, and all of a sudden I felt like I was able to maybe last a little longer in bed and whatnot. And there was the other aspect of like, I guess when I go to sleep, there were times I would say that I felt slightly more tired or gassed in the morning. Like I wouldn't wake up with as much energy, but I don't know if that's only because of jacking off. Like, because I mean, dude, facts are like if you're fucking all night, you're obviously going to wake up the next morning feeling tired as fuck. At the end of the day, you're still busting a nut. Like it's just, somebody else being the reason rather than your own hands. But I don't know. For me, I believe it's kind of been psychological rather than, than factual.
It is definitely psychological. In fact, my answer was going to be that it completely depends on how one feels, because there are different, at least 3 to 4 researches on people that have been tested out. I mean, there was a research where there were 2 groups and they both were training, just that one was masturbating or jacking off, and then the other group was not. And they didn't really see much of a change, with just like a slight % of increase in their testosterone with the people who weren't. So it doesn't really tell us if it really makes a big difference. But then, coming from a place where it's psychological, this is me who's personally tried this. I've jacked off right before I go to the gym and I felt low.
Yeah?
Yes. I felt low, or I haven't felt the same where I would feel if I don't jack off and if I don't masturbate and go to the gym. Maybe it's just psychological, but it is what it is. And then I've also masturbated first thing as we wake up in the morning with that morning wood. And then after a few hours, I just tend to get back to normal.
Oh shit, okay. I've got to experiment with that, bro. Like I haven't like woken up and gone like, let's go normally.
And then when you jack off in the night, this is for me, you get like super tired as you mentioned, and then you get a very good sleep, and then you wake up fresh.
Oh really?
But then there are days you don't wake up fresh. And then the other research study which spoke about how it affects your sleep or maybe the quality of sleep you're into. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. I mean, honestly, there's not much clear evidence of how masturbation would affect on you training, but
maybe
it's
don't
more
do
of
it
a
before the
psychological
gym.
aspect.
But maybe
Right.
don't do it right before the gym.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe time it right. Maybe
Yeah.
know when to do it and when to not.
Yeah.
A good tip is, especially when you're doing leg day,
Yeah.
if you go have sex post leg day, you're gonna definitely take time to finish.
Wait, for
that
real?
Yeah, for real. That could be a really good thing on your plate as a guy.
I'm gonna go from 15 minutes to 8. I'm just joking. I'm gonna go from 5 minutes to 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's a good fucking increase, man. Like
3 minutes,
you
baby.
maybe help her finish finally for once. So yeah, it's interesting as this is one of the most asked questions. Like, oh, is masturbation gonna help us or not? Like, some of the online clients also go like, oh, should we do it? Or like, you know, it's completely personal choice. But obviously, don't be a jackass and just do it every 2-3 hours. Like, that's not healthy.
And not do anything else either.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
shit, dude. That's how I
These things
developed.
are for sure like semen retention would help with your brain function as well. So if you're gonna really jack off a lot, it definitely works on the negative adversity of like killing your brain cells and not gonna like go into like a lot of details with taking all these different names and shit like that. Just keep it simple so you understand and get the message.
Oh man, fair. And on a concluding note over here, we're just at the beginning of 2023. You spent 4 months in Dubai, and obviously you're looking to grow and scale your business over here. What is something that scares you that you're going to be doing, that you're looking forward to doing in 2023, but that also scares the shit out of you at the same time?
Well, scaling up online. Scaling up online in terms of having my own YouTube channel. Because being the whole and soul of my own company and what I'm trying to do is juggling between the personal training sessions, taking care of clients, and also trying to create content and then be more heavy growing online as well. So right now in my life, there's so much chaos that I don't know when I'm sleeping, how long I'm sleeping. I'm making sure I'm getting the average of sleep in the whole of 7 days, but there could be 2 days at a stretch where I haven't slept well and then done like probably 8, 9, 10 sessions a day. And then trying to plan on creating content. Like, it's not easy, and I know this is going to be like a fucking crazy journey this year, but I'm all in for it. Like,
And how is having a coach, as you mentioned earlier, and a mentor, how has that helped you?
it's helped me in a lot of ways. I mean, if I don't have clarity over certain things and if I'm foggy, they help me like segregate things, help me decide what priorities and how I'm supposed to work on with buckets. And I feel that's made the difference. If I don't really believe in having team members working with me yet, at least I believe in having a mentor or having someone who's better than me watch over me and help me improve, you know.
That's a great way to stay accountable, man. And it's a great message for people to get out there too. So, Vivek, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram. I'm the most active there now. My handle is Vivek Korwani. It'll be mentioned right here. And YouTube very soon. I'm putting it out here, so this applies as a pressure on me that I have to take it out now that people are going to be seeing. And our website's going to be live soon. We just got a small amount of merch, 50 pieces for the first design that I wanted to get out. So yeah, hopefully if there is any left, probably the last 5-7 remaining, we'll put them there.
And
Yeah.
what he also forgot to mention is he's got a channel on Instagram as well called Built with VK. It's your brand. Stop. How do you
Built
forget
with
that,
VK.
you dumb fuck?
I mean, if they go on my page, they're gonna find it. So
Built with VK, Vivek Korwani. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been it. Chronic Nirvana. Check out my YouTube at Turkey. Like, follow, subscribe, or don't. No pressure. It's all good. And I will see you on the next one.